Hey guys, Level Cap here. Today we're going to be taking a look at vehicle combat in the Battlefield 4 beta on Siege of Shanghai. Now, I will say this game has never looked as good as it does right now. Flying an attack helicopter through massive skyscrapers. That's Matimio, the gunner, in front of me, and we are just coordinating on targets, dominating stuff, watching everything blow up. I mean, just look at this gameplay. Have you ever seen a first-person shooter that looks anything even close to this? It's just mind-blowing how cool it looks, and just again flying between these giant skyscrapers, flying over this giant body of water, looking at the reflections on the cockpit glass as we fly around. This game is just stunning. Every time I jump into a chopper or just play on the conquest mode of this map, my mind is just blown by how good everything looks. At the moment, vehicular combat is a little bit easier than it's going to be when the full game launches and people start getting all their lock-on weapons and their advanced rocket launchers and that sort of thing. Right now, infantry don't have as many tools to fight against vehicles, so if you want to get into vehicles now, learn them now, it's the perfect time to try out tank driving, helicopter piloting. In the final release of the game, they're in fact going to have a area where you can test pilot, so you don't have to join in a server and worry about aggravating people because you don't know how to fly a helicopter and you keep crashing it. You're going to have a test zone, and this is the perfect addition to the Battlefield franchise, because vehicles have always been that sort of thing that might frighten some of the newcomers to the series, some of the players who don't want to play giant conquest maps because they're afraid of vehicles. They don't know how they work. Well, the beta is the perfect place to learn, and the final is going to have that great test zone. So I recommend all people who are getting into Battlefield to try out the new vehicles, because they're a lot of fun, and once you get the hang of them, they're not quite as daunting as you might think, and they will provide you a huge tactical advantage. Being an opportunistic warrior in this game is probably the most fun way to play. Having played Battlefield for years and years and years, just being a veteran of all the series, I can tell you that I really enjoy getting into every single vehicle, trying out every single infantry class, picking up all the guns, and just being able to take advantage of everything on the map, playing opportunistically. If a helicopter appears in front of you, a tank appears in front of you, and you jump into it, take it, and have some fun with that, you are going to have the most fun in this game than you're going to have in any other shooter. Now, Matimio is flying the attack helicopter around, and I get my brief moment as the gunner, and I gotta say it's a lot of fun. One of the great new additions to this game is that the ammo capacity is severely limited, and your reload times are also very long, so you have to take advantage of what ammo you have when you have it, and then you have to pull out of combat in certain situations when you're just running out of ammo. You don't have anything to work with, you can't kill the enemy, so you gotta move out. And this is a great way to keep attack helicopters from just single-handedly dominating the map. I'm not saying they're not good anymore, they're still incredibly good, and this is the transport heli here, the minigun on the side, which is a lot of fun to shoot. But you're going to have to play the vehicles much more conservatively now. If you're just dominating a situation, you will eventually run out of ammo and you won't be able to dominate quite as hard as you were before. You might have to back up. So it's a great way to balance out the vehicles versus infantry combat and not let them just constantly dominate, not let great tank drivers just dominate the map non-stop. It's going to be the great balancing factor. It also adds a lot more strategy to vehicle versus vehicle combat. If you're a tank driver, you might not want to waste all your main shells on infantry targets. You might want to try using a secondary machine gun for those and conserving your primary ammo for anti-vehicular combat. So there is a lot more strategy to it. You can't spam fire as much. You want to make your shots count. A good tip for new players coming into this game is take advantage of the transport vehicles. Even if it's just an armored jeep, if you pop into that, not only can you get around the map faster, but if you switch to the gunner seat in a combat situation and you're up against infantry, well, you've got a lot of shots that you can absorb, and you've got a fully automatic 50 cal on top of that, which is great for taking out infantry. So you can just drive those around the map, park them in combat situations, and do a lot of damage before people realize just what a threat you are. So that's a good way for trying to dish out the damage, and as you'll see right here, I managed to take out one of these infantry vehicles. It goes into the hole in the street and then I blow it up. That's actually been a lot of fun, is taking out that support system there in these maps and just sinking vehicles in there. You can actually even drive vehicles down in there to get them underground. Now, I always call these guys the APCs, but they're actually technically the IFVs, which stands for Infantry Fighting Vehicles. These guys are incredibly potent. In fact, they're even better for fighting infantry than they were before. They used to be able to do a massive amount of damage to other armored targets like tanks. I think that's been reduced a little bit more for Battlefield 4, which I agree that infantry fighting vehicles should not be able to go one-on-one with the tank and win that battle. I think a good driver could potentially win that battle, but just having them be more focused towards anti-infantry rather than being focused against armor or being able to go one-on-one with armor quite as effectively is a good change-up. We'll see though. I haven't tried out the guided missiles with these yet, and that could make them much more effective against armor, but then again, tanks also get guided missiles. Either way, it looks like vehicle balance has improved for the better. They're not going to be able to dominate infantry quite as much as they could before because of their limited ammo capacity, and it also seems like it's going to be a much more skill-based game for armor versus armor combat. Now, how about these boats? This is the attack boat, and it spawns once the skyscraper comes down in the middle of the map, and you can pretty much dominate the entire bay with it. I'm on the minigun side right now. Matimio's driving the boat at the moment, and as you can see, this minigun is nothing to turn your nose up at. The side gunners have a lot of power, and the primary gunner has a huge amount of power as well. You can even get a guy to sit on the back of the boat to help repair it, fire off RPGs, anti-air rockets, whatever you want them to do. Currently, we don't have a lot of customization options with this vehicle, but I will say that it's still very effective against both infantry and armor. The primary cannon on here has explosive rounds. They fire very fast, and they just wreck any infantry. They also do decent damage to armor, and if you're not happy enough with the damage of this primary weapon, you have a secondary guided rocket, which will take out armor as well. I will say it can be a little bit tricky to aim this thing when you're taking fire from, say, an APC. It will kind of mess with your crosshair there, but if you get the jump on one of them, you will be able to dish out so much damage that you can often kill an APC or a tank before they even have the opportunity to return fire. I would say the best way to think of the attack boat is a water-based combination of the transport helicopter with the miniguns and a tank or APC. Sort of a tank APC combo with the weaponry there, because you have the explosive rounds that just deal so much damage from the primary. This thing is a lot of fun and is surprisingly agile. Now, you are a little bit limited with your mobility on this map just because you only have the bay to move around in, but it allows you to really dominate the center point, and you can still stop armor from getting across the bridges and stop infantry from getting across the bay. So it really is kind of the dividing vehicle here. It divides the map, and you have all control of the bay. Now, if you haven't tried out the Battlefield 4 beta yet, you gotta do so. It's simply the best looking shooter available. The vehicular combat has improved so much since previous games. And despite some of the beta bugs, you know, it is a beta, it's still a ton of fun to play through it. Now, stay tuned to my channel for upcoming videos. I'm going to be talking a lot more about specific classes, their cool abilities, and a lot of the weapons that are available to them, ones that I haven't been able to focus on quite as much at any other point. Having played Battlefield 4 in the past, now I can really just go to town with these guns, analyze them, and talk about playstyles that work really well. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. This is Level Cap, signing off.